Hello and welcome to the use of our third tool being intentional movement in this program, Unleash Your Intuition. So intentional movement. Now, this for me, coming from a space prior to doing this, I often felt really stagnant, really uncentered, unbalanced, ungrounded, just kind of like a little bit icky and like I don't know, just kind of like really sludgy, and like I was always moving through like a really thick honey at times. Often quite lazy, physically lazy as well. But once I started to indulge in this, I began to let go of this stagnation. I began to come to a space of allowing myself to move more freely and allowing myself to be a little bit more expressive as far as like physical movements and my physical abilities. So it's important to know that, there's so many people in this world, especially in like the more Western cultures, and, I definitely experienced this a lot, Toronto being my hometown and living in Toronto, where, we're kind of in this mindset of I'm too busy. I'm always too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. You're not too busy to take care of yourself. You're not too busy to get in touch with yourself. Okay? I'm not trying to tell you what you are and what you aren't, but I am telling you that you're not too busy to spend just a little bit of time being in touch with yourself and doing something for you. Because if you don't do something for you, no one else is going to. They can try, but they're not actually going to succeed unless you give yourself the opportunity to do something for yourself. Okay? And the reason why I'm stressing this a lot in this particular tool is because this seems to be one of the ones that people are so resistant towards, is like moving their bodies, which is so weird to me because it's actually so good for us. So you aren't too busy for movement. Just allow it to occur. And it's also important to make your practice non-negotiable. So when I started to make my practice non-negotiable and allow myself to really just dive into these movement practices, that's when I started to notice a lot of a difference. So in the beginning, for years, I was actually practicing yoga from like an intermittent standpoint, so like a few weeks on, a couple weeks off, a few months on, a couple months off. And so I would feel really good for those few months, and then it would maybe last for like a couple weeks afterwards, but then it would sort of die out, and I would feel less in tune with my body, less in tune with my movements, and less in tune with my intuition. And so the reason why I'm saying that it's so important to make this practice non-negotiable is because that's when real change will begin to occur. So now I bring in movement into my life every single day, and I have for years. Of course I have like days here and there which don't, like, I'm lazy or whatever, and I just like lay in bed and read or go practice, like, another one of these tools, go for a nature walk or something. And so this doesn't mean that you necessarily have to bring it in every single day, but it's important to be bringing it in on a very regular basis, like a few times a week at least. So with this practice, I want to be quite clear as to like, what's included in this sort of like intentional movement. And it is exactly what it sounds. Movement that is intentional. So you're dancing, whether you just, dance in your house alone with your partner, with some friends, go to an ecstatic dance. That's definitely one of my favorite things to do. Get on a yoga mat and just move, whether you're in a class or on your own. And I also stress that when you are in a class too, like, allow yourself to listen to yourself as well. Of course, respect the teacher and the teacher's like knowledge and wisdom that they're bringing, because they do know a lot. There's a reason they're at the front of the class. But at the same time, listening to yourself and your own intuitive guide, your own teacher within you. So say maybe you go to a yoga class and it fed you in a lot of ways, but there's something that was missing. Feel free to go home and get on your mat again and just allow yourself to flow again. Maybe you live by the ocean and you can go for a surf, or you can just go for a swim and kind of move with the waves in some sort of way. Maybe it feels good to go for a really long but slow nature walk, and not just a nature walk admiring nature, but also like, noticing how you're walking, noticing how you're running, noticing the way you're lifting your body as you go to maybe connect with a tree. I know that might sound a little bit out there to some of you, but it feels really good to connect with trees. My biggest suggestion, and this is also because I'm a teacher of yoga, so of course this is going to be a suggestion. If you aren't sure of what to do for intentional movement, just pull out a yoga mat or a scarf or a towel, or go on the grass and lay down on your back and close your eyes, and then just allow yourself to begin to move in ways that feel right for you. So it may start from a more mindful space of just like, okay, I feel like my mind wants me to twist, or I feel like my mind wants me to sit up, but it'll eventually lead to like, okay, this feels kind of like weird in my side body. Like it's actually going to feel kind of good to stretch a little bit, or it's going to feel good to open my heart and bend my back and roll my shoulders back and down, or, it feels good to move my head. And just allowing this to come into you, stretch in the way you want, move in the way you want, flow in the way you want. And yeah, just be very intentional. Okay, now, if I may, I love yoga philosophy, so I will. I'm going to quickly bring this to yoga philosophy. Now, again, everything that I'm saying is included in the ebook, so that you can have it in a bit of a structured way as well from my rambling. But with yoga philosophy, there's a concept called panchakosha, which basically means like the 5 layers or sheaths of the body. And so it's like 5 different body layers leading you to what is the center being the bliss, or kind of space of enlightenment in your body. So the most outer layer, though, is called Annamaya Kosha. Now, Annamaya Kosha is the food body or the physical body, and according to this concept, we have to break through that, and that's the first layer that we break through in order to get to that space within. Okay, in order to get to that bliss body. So break through it, get to know it, become familiar with it, allow yourself to connect to this physical part of your body. Okay. Now, again, if you have any questions or you just want to share about your experience, we would so love to hear from you in our Facebook group, Discovering Souls Community. And yeah, can't wait to hear from you and catch you for the next video, whether you take it later today or tomorrow. May the divine light within me honor that within you. Namaste.